The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we enter the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
S&P's off 3.5 points, off 148. NASDAQ's up 45, and the Russell's down 3.5 points. Crude is up 32 cents, and of course, the dollar will make you holler today because it's up 54 cents. Gold, of course, I'm going to say it's the weakest commodity, off 1.8%. 1332 is the last I have. Copper's off 6 cents. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to be said out there. As I said, 10 days ago, I got out of my gold positions. It didn't mean that gold couldn't move up or down, just that I thought that starting in December that all the extra spending would drive inflation. I am moderating that call. Gold could go higher, but I'm not looking for the 1,820 to 2,400 range that I was looking at the end of the year that I was back in December. That is that there's going to be a lot of cash coming in, and I think that's at least going to put this off for a while. If the market really starts, or if the economy really starts steaming, we could have huge amounts of cash coming in. So I'm going to postpone Armageddon for both higher rates and inflation for a little while anyway. But I can understand how people have that mindset. I just think maybe it will take a little longer to develop. Other things going on, it is options rollover today. Had a lot of good emails from people from Friday's show. We're going to do kind of a special show where I'm going to spend a lot more time today talking about how I trade, not the next trade. So if you're on 5-minute charts looking for something, not going to probably pull that out of my hat today, but I think we're going to have kind of a better idea maybe why I do the things that I do. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. Answer some of the questions I had in email. You, of course, can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can call me at 877-927-6648. And, of course, you can put a message in the den. Got lots of stuff. We're going to get to all of it. Well, all of it I can. So in a market that I don't think is going to do much till at least noon tomorrow, which is going to be all about options rollover for the month, we'll see. But we'll get to some history. Then we'll get into answer some emails that I've already gotten and a little bit about how I trade and maybe a few thoughts on the way, more of a mathematician's view of the stock market, and a few other things.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1962, from Cape Canaveral, Florida, John Glenn Jr. successfully launched in space aboard the Friendship 7 spacecraft on the first orbital flight by an American astronaut. Out of reluctance to risk the life of the popular John Glenn, NASA essentially grounded the clean Marine. The years after his historic flight, frustrated with his uncharacteristic lack of activity, Glenn turned to politics, announced his candidacy for the U.S. Senate from his home state of Ohio, and formally left NASA and the military. Of course, he would go into space one more time after using some leverage to get a ride on the space shuttle on this day in 1962. Okay, so what else do we have going on? Well, I had a lot of questions about Ripple. I hadn't had enough time to go through there and program at least a basic system for buying and selling. I found a good example of that over the last few days. But people were wanting what's Ripple, how does it work compared to other blockchain type products. And first of all, I will tell you the differences between it and other things like Bitcoin. It is similar, but it is not a blockchain. It is not distributed everywhere like blockchain technology. It is more like a Merkle chain. We've talked about that before. You can Google it if you need to. There are no coins to mine. All the mines were originally distributed when the product started. The reason for that will become apparent here in a minute. It is a digital currency made for banks and payment providers. It is not really made for you to trade. It is a representative democracy like the New York Stock Exchange seat holders. I suspect something will happen just like the NYSE, where the government finally told them that you've got to have somebody running the show. You can't all just point fingers at everybody else when everything goes to hell in a handbasket. But the people that actually backed it, the banks, actually get to vote on what things go on in it. They basically get to run it very much like the New York Stock Exchange used to be. You bought a seat, you got a vote, and that's kind of the way it worked. Ripple is the company name. XRP is really the product. It's used mostly right now for transaction fees. It is being used. It also carries or takes care of IOUs like bank drafts between several banks. Every currency is automatically represented, so no matter where you want to send money from one place to another, you can do it. The internet may go from, here to Poughkeepsie to the West Coast and back to Texas, but that's not the way Ripple works. It will set up basically a peer-to-peer transaction for one hop. You can send all the money in the world in 6 seconds, which is pretty good compared to the 3 to 5 days that a wire transfer now occurs. The IOUs are like bank drafts. The XRP keeps balances between the parties for various currencies. And of course, if you spend more time on this, you really see they built it for banks. Now, does this make this thing an instant huge success? Do they keep the rates low enough that it never becomes that kind of big thing? It could. There's only one way I know, other than buying the coins in this, to play it, and we'll talk about that when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
It's a special month at TFNN, and with market volatility back, we've decided to hold an open house in our Tiger's Den. For this month only, you can get a full 30 days of Tiger's Den membership without paying anything. The Tiger's Den is our interactive chat room where you can chat with other tigers and tigresses along with the TFNN hosts during each of their programs. For all of the details and to start your 30-day free trial to the Tiger's Den today, visit the front page of TFNN.com before this deal is gone.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Anyway, it is very interesting. Some questions in the den about the Gates Foundation and other folks being in it. As far as I can tell, everybody's got a vote. It is a representative democracy. There is no head of Ripple that can push its fortunes and future in any specific way any more than anybody else can. It's an interesting technology. The question is, how much money will Ripple be able to skim off in this issue, especially since the banks kind of control the company. And I don't know, some people have talked about some nefarious ideas. I really just don't see this as anything other than them cutting out the middleman for bank transfers and ACHs and other issues. You know, in a bank transfer, a lot of times you've got to get a bank with a relationship with a bank you want to send the money to. It takes 3-5 days or whatever. This just seems a lot faster, and if you've got trust between the two banks, pretty interesting system. One of the things that, is it not in here? I don't think it is. You need 78 coins to get started. That's like a minimum amount, I think, although you can prove it. And almost everybody right now is just using it for the fees for these IOUs, which are nothing more than like the equivalent of bank drafts. So interesting technology, not blockchain. It's a Merkle chain. They keep a full list. There's not any contracts that I see in any of the stuff that I look through. So it is a very straightforward application of a similar but not the same technology as blockchain, and it's made very specifically for banks to send money to other banks and people like credit cards and stuff like that. But in its present form and what I saw for what I could program and what they show that can be programmed, it seems very simple at this moment. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking all the things that they can do with this. There's just not that much right now in the API. They may be planning a lot of stuff. It is just not there. My thought is that they want to make this thing fairly bulletproof so people can't come in and hack it. And to do that, they got rid of a lot of ideas that might be good, but be a security issue. So very interesting technology. The question, as far as I can see and everything I read, is just how much money are they going to allow Ripple to make off of this technology that they've built for their banks, because they basically have all the voting rights and they have all the coins. So that's it. I don't see that there's a whole lot here. Now, we did talk just briefly about the only way to play this. The only way that I know of is Seagate. What is it? STZ? Is that Seagate? Is it something else? Can't remember right now. Constellation brand, Seagate. STX. Okay. Seagate owns some Ripple coins. It is unclear as they provide a lot of the hard drives in the startup phase of it. They got a cut. They will not say how much they got. We're going to assume that it was a fairly decent dose. But at the same time, is this the equivalent of Yahoo trading on Alibaba as the back end for so many years, to the point where Alibaba was the dog and then Yahoo became the tail? Kind of tough, but without them saying how much they have, I don't know how you actually handicap what part of Ripple Seagate is in its stock price because of its association there. Okay. Okay, we got that. Got a couple of emails we'll get. Okay, so we've got Seagate. This actually kind of looks more like an ABC on the way down, though, if you want to look at that. If we look at a quick expansion here, let's turn this down a little bit here. Okay, so you got an ABC that would take you to $42. You had very strong move down from the January 31st low to the February 9th low. That had 5.6 million shares compared to the 3.8 million shares on January 10th. So this thing did a 60% retrace from the high, from the low of February 9th to today's high. That is right. Okay. So there isn't a whole lot there. 4207 would be the ABC, which is just underneath this gap up. When I think they announced this and it became plain, that was back on the 8th of January. So that's the first thing. Ripple. Wanted to talk a little bit about the market over the last few weeks. There is at least some idea about the way that things broke when we came back on that Monday after the Thursday that bonds took a drubbing as Mrs. Yellen went out the door throwing rocks at the bond market. And we saw the market pretty much go to the point where it probably should have bounced, and everybody hopped on the market and broke its back for a week until that Friday. There is this kind of thing where you've got a pretty natural distribution in the stock market. It's actually called the Mexican hat or the sombrero in literature for finance. I also heard kind of the equivalent called the fourth quadrant, from Nassim Taleb. But if we were up here at the highs of the market or at the lows of the market, the idea is that you're only going to go up so high or you're going to go down so low. And, you know, in one big move, you can kind of give an idea what that is, whatever it is. 10% is a big move, and that would be it. So do you go past it, or 5% or whatever, 3%? You're having all these movements, and they're 3 and 4 and 5%, right? There is a thing where you get to what you probably shouldn't go any lower, and this is the expectation curve, i.e., I think we're going to come back 5%. We get to 4%. You get to 5%, and the expectation actually starts going back up. This is called a fat tail on the market. If you do Google something, you'll find, and Google the fourth quadrant. This happens a great deal in the market. That is, everybody gets ready. They think they know what's going to happen. And guess what? The market actually busts and extends itself much farther than you ever thought it would. That's kind of what we saw. The sombrero, the Mexican hat, the fourth quadrant, a lot of different names for it. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And I gave a big webinar about options expiration. What can I tell you? About 4 times a year, it's going to be deadly accurate. About 4 times, it's going to make you money. And about 4 times, it's going to be way off. And I'll give you a little idea how this works. here's a nice kind of big U curve. And this is what it looks like in the market on the profit loss statement when options expire. If you see something that has a real big kind of bowl look at the bottom for when losses, when all the options expire on the monthly options, that means that the market makers don't really know where the thing's going to expire. So on this one, you just get a lot of range, and maybe you'll do some intraday trading and stuff, but you're not looking, as I was from a week ago Friday to last Friday, for a big move up and above 2,700. Now, you can also see some other kind of patterns. Sometimes, let me zoom in here so we can see this just a little bit better. There we go. Sometimes you get the, it doesn't like me zooming in and out, does it? Okay, there we go. Sometimes you're going to see these kind of curves that look like hockey sticks. And these hockey sticks basically tell everybody that, well, we don't think it's going lower, but there's a wall either higher or lower that the option market makers are betting on. And you will see these patterns, especially in individual stocks. Don't think I've ever seen them actually in the S&Ps, any of the other big indexes, but they're kind of standard hockey sticks. You'll see them a great deal where people just basically think that there's no way that stock can go higher, so they don't really do much in the way of protecting themselves to the downside or the upside, depending on whether or not they don't think that there's really, basically this is a bet from the option market maker that a stock for the most part is going nowhere fast. They don't really protect one side or the other. They just get on it. And then there's some other ones out here. I've called this one the goblet, but that's kind of a somewhere between a bowl and a direct V. What we had last week was this. We had something that looked very much like a V. It pointed exactly where the options should expire. And of course, those numbers will kind of move from day to day depending on what option market makers sell. But the week before last Friday, it was very plain that that number was going to be somewhere around 2,700 or a little bit above it. As that week progressed, they sold more puts and actually moved that number up to what we eventually expired at. Friday, I said basically that at the point in the morning that we were going to expire either flat or a little bit down. I think 1 point higher is about as good as you can get. But that was fairly plain in the morning. You could have seen a little downside in the market. But a lot of times when these things point, I mean, it's the difference between kind of waving your hand sometimes and a finger pointing exactly at the guy who did it in courtroom. That V pattern is what you see about 4 times a year. You get that goblet pattern, which isn't as good or predictive, but still will give you a fairly decent hint of where the market's going. That's about the other 4 times. And then, as we said at the very beginning, you're going to get that fourth quadrant, or you're going to get that sombrero pattern. Let me move back up here. That sombrero pattern where you get way out of it. And at those points, there's very little to give you any indication. Sometimes things just get chaotic and they don't point to anything. It's kind of like having a horse race. Everybody's betting on 40 to 1s. Well, a horse does have to win. But if you have a bunch of nags out there, who do you bet on? And that's basically the problem of trying to pick these up every single month and use them. You'll notice that most months I don't say anything about where the options are pointing at and where they can expire. I just kind of say, well, flat, sideways, don't have a big call. But when you get those V patterns, they are very good at pointing exactly where option market makers think that the market's going to go and expire. as we leave. Lastly, I think we've got a little bit of time here, and then we'll get into the next segment. We'll start looking at some charts. From some of the questions, they really don't understand divergence and convergence. As options continue to expire and get closer to expiry day, you should see if you can rely on options to point you the way to nirvana. They will continue to converge, i.e. that V will get sharper and sharper and sharper. Normally, when it's not going to work, the 4 months, a year where this thing just isn't doing anything, it gets actually worse every single day. It diverges, not converges. So normally, let's say that you were trying to figure out the number of pi long before anybody knew it was 3.14159. And all you could do is measure different circles and then compare it to the radius and the diameter and everything else. What would you figure out fairly quickly is that the more times you measured it and averaged those out, sometimes you'd be a little long, sometimes you'd be a little short. You're going to converge and get close to that 3.1459 number. If the more you measure something, the worse it gets. That's the actual definition of divergence, i.e. as something should get better, it actually goes the opposite way. And that's kind of what we saw in that Monday route through Thursday and Friday of that week. Everybody tries to think they know where the divergence will turn around and turn into convergence. I think I started at the close buying on Thursday, bought all the way through Friday. But the idea that convergence of especially options and other factors out there was fairly clear on that Friday. But once things quit getting wackier, they do tend to get and converge much more succinctly. And that's what we saw over the last week. Everybody started getting back in line. Everybody started figuring out what the program was. Everybody was scared. And, of course, as a trader, you have to turn around your normal feelings. You have to be greedy when everybody's fearful. And when everybody's fearful, you've got to be greedy. And that's what we did. We stepped in, picked it up on the cheap, and we sold it. Now I'm sitting here on cash, looking for some opportunities. Probably going to see him tomorrow, maybe the next day, and we'll move on. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the Taz Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And it's a good day to give me a call, 877-927-6648. Okay, got a question in here about Google. Short at 114 with stop at 133. Is it a likely winner? My guess is this thing probably spikes the 133. The question is, would the 133 be 1133? Excuse me, be the close under the close of that day, or it touches it at all? My guess is that you'd actually that the way you trade would be 1133 touched it and you would be out. That would probably be a close under number that I would be looking at. My guess is that this thing could go sideways for a number of days. I dislike the idea of shorting today because I don't have any real signal that the market is rolling south. We could just go sideways for weeks. I don't have a bias either up or down. Like I said, I have one long position at the moment, and that is in the tech insider. I'm not going to be selling that out unless there's something that drastically changes in that stock. I love it. And no, I won't marry it. But anyway, the only question I have out here is I want a signal in the market. I know that we were up against resistance, but I don't know that we're headed lower. Again, I'd like to see some kind of horrible news in the economy that makes me think that the market's headed back south. Google is probably the weakest big FANG stock out there. They have, them and Facebook have kind of the biggest issues that are unsolved. Google doesn't have anything really new, and Facebook has a problem with if anybody's actually the real person on it, besides just being a place for narcissists. But it is, you're up on light volume. I love the chart pattern out here. The only question I have is I can't really either pull a trigger on a long or a short here without some kind of new signal, which I don't see. We're going to look through some charts out here today. For me, it's a coin flip. Not a bad trade. The pattern is great. You're back here. You filled half the gap. of 4.1 million shares down on the 5th of February. You've got 1.1 million shares today compared to that 4 million shares. Everything on this looks beautiful. The only thing I don't see is the market with us. I would have liked to seen Tesla roll and have some real problems. This thing's just kind of going sideways. Energy's not all that exciting, but it is not bad off the bottom out here. This thing's going just into this huge 10 million share day down. But I would love to see a few things. Now, Google itself, the short interest has kind of picked up in the last couple of days. And if we look at the days to cover, it's not too bad. It's 1.9, 2.1, 2.3. It's been kind of running in that area for the last 3 reporting sessions, so it's not overly short. But a lot of times after these huge moves in the market, these stocks can go sideways a lot longer than you would like. And that's my only beef on that. I want to hold my breath a couple of days before I pull the trigger. But, you know, could it go down? Yes. Could it stop you out? I'm going to say the odds are equal. And the question is, what you think the where it's going if it does fall apart, which is about 1,000. So actually not a bad risk reward. Yeah, interesting trade. Like the heavy volume down, like the chart pattern. I just would like to see some kind of something happen out here that would be better. Walmart, of course, tossed its cookie this morning. And it's going back to its breakout area of the 16th of November. That was 38 million shares. We already have 35 million shares today. Now, this one kind of did a similar thing, except it actually had even higher volume on the 9th. I should have put 2 and 2 together because Walmart's one of the closer stores to me. So a lot of times if I'm doing something during the day, I'll run up there at lunch and pick things up. And the lines have been enormous. And they haven't been enormous because there are lots of people there. It's because they're getting rid of everybody they can and cutting hours down. So I probably should have taken a look at this. The downside was Friday, 16 million shares, which was more than the 11 million shares on February 7th. So probably couldn't have pulled the trigger on this one. But certainly the fundamentals on this look like these guys have and are continuing to try to cut expenses as fast as they can. But that's kind of interesting. Let's look at some other ones out here that are in the neighborhood. Like I said, a lot of these things look pretty good for shorting. Zillow up on very light volume so far today. We'll see how this one closes. This is going and filling the gap down from the, August 9th, 5.4 million shares. We've got to 6.6 million shares. So there's some out here that are getting very close to previous highs on fairly light volume. So Google's not the only one out here. There's some that actually are coming back in and finding a floor. So I can see both bearish and bullish propositions for the market now, and why I am all cash in the daily newsletter. The 31st of October had 1.3 million shares on WellCare health care plans. You got into that with 1.3 with 800,000 on February 9th. This thing's just kind of gone sideways. You don't have a lot more up here today. You may get one more pullback to 185 in that area, maybe 187, one more test out here, but not a bad looking chart finding support. TX, which is Ternium, this one testing its previous spike of January 29th that had 1.4 million shares. Friday with 430,000 shares. This one's kind of coming back into the trading range here. There's a handful of them. What else do we have? Shutterfly, I think earnings are coming out in the next day or so on this one. Now, this one's up here on fairly light volume. It gapped higher back on the 30th of January, did so on 13.5 million shares. It's now testing this February 2nd high at 74.92 with 3 million shares. Fairly light volume out here. There's a handful of these stocks that look fairly good. I just don't see the general market movement either higher or lower now. My guess is we are going to get that sign through options rollover, which is going to be over tomorrow afternoon, probably sometime. We'll be back. We'll look at earnings for this week when we come back.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental. So I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earned me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Off 11.5 on the S&P, Nasdaq's up 11, Dow's off 210, Russell's down 6, and what do we got? And gold's off 24. Okay, so after the bell tonight, or this morning, before the bell, we had Home Depot. It's up a little. Walmart, of course, getting hammered. Domino's Pizza came out. Six Flags had a handful of them out here. Henry Schein, I think they make dentures. After the bell tonight, though, we start seeing some other Transocean. Probably not a big deal anymore. Lazy Boy, Texas Roadhouse, the restaurant, Lending Club, Rent-A-Center. Rent-A-Center probably going to be kind of interesting to see if there's any stress in the lower economic scale. Conchito Resources, CXO, also after the bell, Public Storage. And, of course, if you're into gold, we've got New Gold and Pan American Silver tonight. Those are both in the 5 and 6 o'clock hour when those things come out. They don't tend to trade much after the bell, so we'll look at that. Now, tomorrow morning, we come in Advanced Auto Parts, Cheniere Energy, Garmin, Tile Shop, Owens Corning Fiberglass. So that's kind of interesting. Also, Vista Gold. Thursday, did I cut off what happened last night or tomorrow night? I think I did. Yeah. We'll see. We get into Thursday, Chesapeake Energy, Wayfair, Lending Tree's in there twice. Hormel Foods, Norwegian Cruise Line, to GoGo, Denbury Resources, Newmont Mining on Thursday, along with Bloomin' Brands, Interdigital, Orbital, ATK, Alamos Gold, TK Shippers, HP, Intuit. Got a lot of these things. Hewlett Packard Enterprise for solar, GoDaddy, Mercado Libre, Norderson Fitness, Herbalife, Red Robin, one of my favorite places, James River Group, and then we get into Monday with Armstrong Worldwide, a handful of others. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.